what you're really hitting on is what gives a human value. I've gone into this philosophically in a book I wrote called How Not to Become a Millennial. And I give the example, let's say you're the greatest music composer in the universe and you compose the universe's greatest music piece and you put it on the planet of Mars. If nobody sees it, does it matter? Yeah. And I think what we're realizing with, it's not to be a selfish thing either, but you really don't exist unless other people acknowledge and validate your existence. And again, I want to make a very clear delineation. I'm not saying I'm the center of the universe, but do you really exist if another human doesn't talk to you? Like if this phone, like you see these post-apocalyptic shows or movies, and everyone thinks, oh yeah, it'd be great to have Ferraris. We drive around. I think there was even a comedy at one time. You know what would happen? You put a bullet in your head by day 2 because there's no humans. Fine, you got all the world's wealth and all the world's assets at your disposal, assuming gas would even stay good that long. Without another human being to ping off of you to say, hey, yeah, like I throw a joke and people laugh. Cool, I exist. I hit on a girl. She giggles, laughs at my jokes. I exist. And, you know, even I punch somebody, he gets pissed off. He punches me back. Okay. It didn't feel good, but I exist. And I think you need that human interaction, especially since our entire existence has been within each other's purview. Like it's not over the internet. You need to pick up on those biological cues and clues that like, oh yeah, I'm validated. I am here. Because frankly, if you don't exist and no one acknowledges you, you don't exist. You might as well not exist as a sentient human being.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet, on another level, isn't it almost considered to be the ultimate, the old guy who grows the long beard and he's become so philosophical and he's become so spiritual and okay in himself that he can go and live in a cabin in the woods and he's fine. He doesn't need other people because he's sort of worked out the truth. I mean, isn't that in some way something that people almost aspire to? Because you know you've reached this level of transcendence where you don't need human contact, but is that a thing or is that just totally unrealistic?
Well, it's called nihilism, and what's his name? Who's the guy that came up with that? The philosopher with the mustache. Nietzsche. All right, I think that's a reaction to the sheep of the masses. Where and keep in mind, to get to that level, you probably have to have had other things taken care of. You can't be worried about your little nieces and running around and are we going to make rent? But there are some people that get to that point, and older men, obviously older women, I guess too, where things are kind of taken care of. They've gotten their domain. We have the Greek philosophers that come up with that. But I think that's more of a reaction where it's like, I do believe they came to happen upon finiteness, that this is going to end and we got to make it count. And then when you realize how many people are not coming along with you or are distracted with stupid stuff like materialism, worthless degrees, faux philosophies, faux intellectualism, even religions that are cults, you're like, hey, it's other humans that matter. And then when you go out there, and not to mention all the other people are just getting by and don't have time for your esoteric BS. They just got to put food on the table for the kids. Yeah. Again, we start getting to that loneliness. And so if you ever read Thus Spake Zarathustra, which is, I just didn't like it. I'm not a big fan. There's something weird about Nietzsche. But the point still remains, he's this philosopher. He comes down off the mountain, and he's right, but the bread and circus people mock him. And so I think there'll be more of these people as their food, clothing, and shelter needs are met. But those are the statistical oddities. But they're right. They are right. Like, hey, but I still don't think for a while you could go and sit in your hermit kingdom, but inevitably you're going to want to find other philosophers. You're going to want to find other people. So the quiet monk sitting up at the Tibetan monastery, certainly that's a thing. But inevitably, I don't know, and maybe they knew something I didn't, but I'd inevitably have to seek out other people. I absolutely would.